Hello all YouTubers, I'm the Weather Dude. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you all for tuning back in to my presentation for February 18th, 2019. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the major flood threat for the southeastern United States, so stay tuned for that. As always, please subscribe, do me a favor, and do yourself a favor. Please subscribe and also ring the bell notifications for the latest weather updates and information from me. So, we're going to get started on today's presentation by looking at the sea surface temperature anomalies. Now, this might sound kind of silly, okay, but it actually does factor into what I'm going to talk about today. So, you notice that a lot of the eastern Atlantic and as well as most of the Gulf of Mexico has warmer than average sea surface temperatures. And that is good. That is because the high parked over here is going to enhance a southerly wind that's going to warm up these ocean temperatures. Okay. As for the Gulf of Mexico, again, that southerly wind is going to enhance those sea surface temperatures. It's also going to lead to more warm, moist air to be drawn in from the Gulf of Mexico and also from the Atlantic. So when you combine the two forces of moisture and you get some dry air from high pressure to the north, they're going to clash and they're going to form days and days of rain. And I'm going to show you some rainfall totals as well as some maps. But before I do, I'm going to show you water.weather.gov. This is part of the National Weather Service, and I will hope to talk about Winter Storm Petra. I will try my best to make a video tomorrow on Winter Storm Petra. But you can see, just in the past 7 days, okay, across the southeast, how much rain have we seen? Well, areas around Knoxville have seen 4 to 5 inches of rain. Now you're like, well, what does that mean? Well, that means you have about 3+ inches above average is your surplus. 3 inches above average of rain just in the past 7 days. We're like, well, what about the month of February? Okay, for the month of February, so basically from February 1st till now, February 18th, we do have a band from about Nashville back to the west, right in this line right here. About 8 to 10 inches of rain just in the first 18 days of February. So it's not too far from about maybe 3/4, 8/10 of an inch of rain every day once you average it all out. I'm not saying that's actually what happened, but it's averaged it all out. And you can see some areas 5 to 8 inches of rain above average just for the month of February. So we've been very wet, and it's only going to get more wet, more moist in the atmosphere. And as for the year to date, so from January 1st until now, okay, we've seen about 10 to 15 inches of rain. Okay, again, that's about 6 to 8 inches of rain above average. So, we're not messing around in the southeast, okay? And even those areas of darker blue, that's areas of 8 to 12 inches above average. You see some little speckles, but mostly widespread 6 to 8 or 4 to 8 inches of rain above average. And we're only going to get more wet. Okay, more rain is going to come in. So this is the GFS model. I will show you other models as well. I will show you 2 other models because they do go out more into the future. And you can see here's the first storm. Now here, this is Petra. Okay, and you can see some areas where they do get in those yellows and oranges, that heavier rain. Like I said, the last model I show you, FV3 GFS, will provide actual radar. This does not, but it still gives us an idea. And you can see yellows and oranges on MSLP really mean something because yellows and oranges on MSLP means like reds on the radar because this is a lower resolution. MSLP is lower resolution. And you can see arrow 48, we do see some yellows on the radar lighten up the map. And you can see there's a snow on the front end of Petra moving into the mid-Atlantic, Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, Jersey, Pennsylvania. And you can see the rain just kind of just sits there. The green won't be too terribly heavy. We will have a couple breaks, few and far in between. And you can see here comes our next batch of little heavier showers and downpours, and it's just going to keep continuing and continuing. And we could even have an area of red potentially lighten up the map in southern Indiana. These areas of oranges and reds, we could potentially see some severe weather. There is a possibility of severe weather, I will tell you real quick. But Tuesday and Wednesday, it will probably be right in this area. It's going to be a possible threat of severe weather, potentially some hail and damaging winds. Under those, not too many severe thunderstorm warnings. This isn't going to be like a severe weather outbreak, but there could be a potential some hail and strong winds. And you can see down by New Orleans, Biloxi, Mississippi, Mobile, Alabama, right in that area right there, we can see some more heavier rain. And even those darker greens can mean some heavy rain as well. And you can see another batch of heavy rain makes its way east. This is around February 27th. Okay, moves its way onto the east. Okay, and then eventually we're gonna see a little break potentially. Now this is going way too far. We're talking about first week of March now. Okay, so how much rain are we talking about? Well, think about it. Just in the next, let's go 24 hours. Just in the next 24 hours. Okay, some areas could even pick up to a half an inch of rain just in the next 24 hours. Say like areas like eastern Texas. But that's nothing. You ain't seen nothing yet. Right in the area of 36 hours. Okay, we could potentially see, just in the next 36 hours, additionally, potentially another 2 inches of rain. Say northern central Arkansas areas. But again, it gets worse than that. Let's go 3 days out. This is 72 hours out. And you see widespread areas of 2 inches plus. We're talking about maybe like 2 to 3.5 inches of rain just in the next 3 days. Okay, and by the time you go to the next 5 days, okay, you start to see those darker lavenders and darker purples start to fill up the map. Okay, and what that means is potentially maybe even 3 to 5 inches now in the next 5 days. And then look at this, the rain just keeps on coming in. Okay, next week, in the next 7 days, couple little speckles of red. I wouldn't be surprised if we approach 6 inches in this area around Memphis, Nashville, northern Mississippi. Okay, but really, I'm going to light it up here for the next 16 days. So this is through Wednesday, March 6th in the afternoon. You can see widespread areas. Anywhere in this red shade is 6 inches plus. And that also includes areas around New Orleans. Okay, especially you're by the water in New Orleans, you're going to get hit hard. Not too much storm surge. This isn't a hurricane. But it sure will feel like it with all the rain. But it's not going to be a hurricane. And you can see these areas of orange, okay, and even some brighter orange and yellows. We're talking about potentially entering double-digit rainfall just in the next couple of weeks. So please be very careful. It only takes a few inches to cause trouble. And like I said, potentially double-digit rainfall for northern Mississippi, northern Alabama, as well as southern Louisiana. On top of, let's say, we're about 6 inches above average of rainfall just in the past couple weeks, 3 weeks. So something to watch out for. This is the GEM model. Again, it's lower resolution, MSLP, but it still gives you an idea. And you can see, and I will show you rainfall totals as well. You can kind of see lighten up the map here, yellows and oranges in eastern Arkansas. It only takes a little bit of yellow on the map, or even dark green to cause some problems. You can see as we head through time, okay, more bands of oranges and yellows lighten up the map as these low pressure systems just keep coming from the south, just keep riding up that jet stream. Okay, and in addition to that, once we could take a little break, maybe 6 or 7 days from now, and then again we just start to see rainfall lighten up the map, and even some severe weather in southern Alabama where you have some oranges and reds lighten up the map. Very, very heavy rainfall is possible. So this only goes out 10 days. Okay, so you might be thinking, well, how much rain are we going to get according to this model? Well, if you really want to know, it's very heavy. Okay, I mean, think about this. Just in the next 6 hours. Okay, even in the next 6 hours, some areas could pick up 1/4 inch of rain. In southern Georgia, maybe approaching 2/10 inch of rain just in the next 6 hours. But all in all, as we head 3 days from now, again, widespread area, 2 inches plus of rainfall in the southeast around Tennessee Valley. But then, once that little area of red that I showed you earlier in southern Alabama, I want you to watch this area right in here. That's where that red area moved through. Watch as that all of a sudden just lights up. Right there. There we go. And this is the next 10 days. I wouldn't be surprised if we see rainfall approaching 10, maybe even 12 inches right there. New Orleans. Well, especially Biloxi and Mobile, Alabama. But widespread area right here of 6 inches plus of rainfall. Very heavy rainfall. And it's not really going to be a flash flood event, because this is going to last several days, and we will have breaks in between. So if you do get an alert, it won't be like a flash flood watch. It'll be more like a flood watch or like a flood warning. And those river gauges are a moderate to major flood stage across the southeast, especially across the Tennessee Valley out in here. So a lot of rivers are in flood stage, whether it be minor, moderate, or extreme. So now we're going to move on to our next model, which is the FV3 GFS model. This is as far as I can zoom with this model. But you can kind of see this is the model that provides the actual radar. Although, again, other models do provide more accurate radar, but this is still radar nonetheless. You can see there are the yellows and oranges on the map. And really tell the tale of how much rain we're going to see. You can see on the front edge of Winter Storm Petra, you can see, again, there's that snow. Hopefully I will get to talk about that tomorrow. I will try my best to get in a video then. Then you can see areas of red are possible here across the Tennessee Valley, especially around Memphis and northern Mississippi. And again, with these low pressure zones, you have to watch. Now, I've seen this a lot in severe weather. Okay, you see there's the low pressure. On the back side, you have those isobars packed together. You're going to have that stronger wind. But out ahead of it, okay, we're going to have a nice southerly flow. And usually with these storms like this, we could even see a band of severe weather. Like a line of severe storms, like a squall. Except it's not a snow squall. And you can see all these bouts of rain, usually they're coming from the Gulf of Mexico. Where again, as I showed you on that map, the waters are very warm. So fueling moisture is possible. You can see just bouts of rain. And look at this. This is crazy. Look at all these widespread reds on the radar now. Across eastern Mississippi, all of Alabama, all of central Alabama, and also parts of like Boone, North Carolina, like the Appalachian Mountains, Smoky Mountains. Okay, and even 10 days from now, okay, I did see this earlier, maybe a little bit of snow, okay. That's not really going to factor into your rain totals too much. Okay, don't count on that. Don't get excited yet. It could happen, but we'll look at that later on in the next 10 days if that actually happens. But you can see we got a little break, and then look at this. Oh, my goodness. Right around hour 350 or so, you can see more of that line of showers and thunderstorms producing very heavy rainfall. Okay, so this is going to be very heavy rainfall potential. Now, how much? How much rainfall are we talking about? Well, to answer that question, I wouldn't say too much and say like the next 36 hours, but once we get beyond then, we're going to start seeing some very heavy bouts of rainfall. So the next 3 days, a couple inches, 2-3 inches could pile up. I wouldn't be surprised 3.5 inches could pile up just in the next 3 days. So that's about, think about that, it's about an inch, maybe even 1.25 inches per day. And you know how I can tell where the high pressure is? It's sitting right here. It's kind of obvious because around that high pressure is the area of the least amount of precipitation. You can see that kind of like that flow around it. It's bringing some rain into the Atlantic Ocean. And you see that kind of that flow because where that area of least precipitation is, because you know high pressure brings dry air, quiet conditions. Where that area of least amount of precipitation is, that's basically where your high pressure will be sitting. And out ahead of that low pressure, you can tell where that is because out ahead of it, there's going to be a lot of precipitation. So a lot of factors going into this heavy rainfall. And if I zoom the clock forward, okay, this is now the GFS, let's say, targeted the rain in a lot of this area. GEM model kind of took it down here, and the FV3 GFS is taking it into the Tennessee Valley, kind of like the GFS did, because they're pretty much the same model, except the FV3 GFS was a little bit more extreme with the rainfall and the snowfall. But I wouldn't be surprised some areas could approach double-digit rainfall across like northern Mississippi, northern Alabama, eastern Tennessee, even western Tennessee as well. And parts of Kentucky could certainly bypass 6 inches of rain in the next, say, couple weeks. So that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Please be careful in the Southeast. I cannot stress that enough. How many people die in floodwaters each year. Just please do not go out if you don't have to. It only takes about 1 inch of rain to cause problems. And it only takes like about 1/4 of an inch of rain to cause slippery and slick travel. And again, the mountains watch for that freezing rain. And again, in the mid-Atlantic, watch out for that snow from Winter Storm Petra. Again, it only takes 6 inches of rain to wash away a person. 6 inches of flowing water to wash off a person downstream. It only takes about 1 foot or 2, depending on how heavy your vehicle is, about 1 foot or 2 of water to push away your car. Thank you for watching my video for today. Thank you for watching this presentation. I am the Weather Dude, signing off. Till next time.